Steve Gamache here for Chef Knives to Go, and we're taking a quick look at the Tojiro DP Gyuto 180mm. I put the model number F-807 on there because there are a lot of different knives, and sometimes this helps differentiate between them. So this particular knife line has a lot of different styles and blade shapes and sizes. This is their 180 Gyuto, so kind of a smaller size for kind of home, kitchen, or prep work if you're in a pro environment and you got a smaller prep space. This can work really well. That doesn't take a lot of room. So core steel is VG10 full stainless steel. Heat treat's about 60. This is used in a lot of the different knife lines, and it's been used in Tojiro DP line for years, and it's a good quality steel, and it works well. So the construction is 3 layers. On either side of that hardcore center cutting edge steel, you've got soft stainless cladding. And if you look right there, so I'll bring the knife up here. There's your cladding line right there. The weight and dimensions are going to be pretty close from knife to knife on these. This is 176 grams, or 6.2 ounces. Edge length about 182, or 7.2 inches. And the overall length is about 310 millimeters, or a little over 12 inches. The spine thickness at the top of the blade is, I got about 1.8 at the back, and then about halfway down I got about 1.665, and this has a little bit of taper to it as you start to get towards the tip. The tip's not super skinny, but it does a pretty good job. It actually thins out pretty nicely at the very end, so performance is good on these. And then here is the back side, so not super duper skinny, but thin enough where, again, these do a nice job. It's just kind of a good all-around performer. Blade height, these are not particularly tall, but that's pretty standard for this kind of knife. It's about 44 millimeters at the back. And the handle is kind of appropriate size for this. It's got enough size you can grip it, but it's not too big for the knife. And you've got to be a little careful, but you've got enough spot there for your fingers on a pinch grip, unless your fingers are really, really big. You know, clearance for your cutting board. The handle, the site might say black Pacawood, but this really looks like, and I think these are black micarta. It's pretty much what they put on them, which is a good bonus because black micarta is very durable and really resistant to changes in moisture and heat and so on. So it's very stable. So it's a little denser, so it's going to be a little heavier, but it's almost bulletproof. So good stuff. So you've got a full stainless steel tang that runs all the way through the handle, and then you got your 3 stainless rivets, and you've got your integrated bolster. It's nicely done, that flows right into the blade. The only nitpick about these is quite frequently the choil, the back of the blade into the bolster, can be a little sharp on the edges. They don't always really finish that off very well, and so you may have to get some strips of sandpaper and do maybe a shoe shine operation on that and kind of clean that up a little if that bothers you. Some people yes, and some people don't. The spine could probably use a little bit, but it's better than the choil. So that's pretty common with this line. The fit and finish is nicely done. I guess we'll get our beauty shot here. You can see the vertical machine finish right here, and you can see the cladding line where that's the core steel. You've got a kind of an etched kanji and other symbols on the right side of the blade as you'd be using it. And this is the left side of the blade. Balance point, it's going to be back a little bit just because this handle is pretty dense and heavy, full tang, and it's not a big blade. So there's your balance point right about there, just in front of that rivet. So a little handle heavy if you're pinch gripping it. Out of the box edge, I'll give this a 6 out of 10. They have a nice out of the box edge. It's pretty, got some polish to it, and it's nicely formed edge, so it should give you a good start out of the box. Of course, you can get them sharper if you know what you're doing and do your part. They are fairly stiff for the thickness of the blade, and I'd say the fit and finish outside of that choil and maybe the spine a little bit, it's pretty nice fit and finish. Let's look at the cutting board. So this is a good size blade for either home use. I've been kind of gravitating for a lot of kind of quickie stuff to 180 millimeter Gyuto knives, and it's just kind of a handy size for a lot of food prep if you're not doing bigger stuff or in smaller quantities. It could be a good prep knife in a pro environment as well if you don't have a lot of room to work. or again, home if space is at a premium, or you just want to do something a little quicker and don't want to bring a bigger knife out. So these can be quite handy. So here's your edge profile. It's just pretty generally usable. So you've got a flows into the back, got a little bit of a flattish area towards the back half, and then the front, you've got enough belly where you can get up fairly high for this short of a blade. And so I can rock this really nicely over pretty decent sized stuff, and got a little bit of chopping area in the back, and then just kind of the middle front part just will work well for a variety of techniques. So it's a pretty versatile profile. They make a lot of use out of that 180 millimeter length on the blade edge. So again, this knife line's been around quite a while, and it just works well, and it's very popular perennially for a reason. So this is their Tojiro DP Gyuto 180 millimeter knife.